weight of the upper body, plus it receives the force from the ground up as you walk. So if this is out of alignment, doesn't stand to reason that over time it's going to become a big problem. Okay. So here's a picture of how muscles can play a role in all of this. Your back extensors pull up. Okay, your hip flexors pull down. Okay, because, well, we haven't really studied where they attach, but your hip flexors, you've got your quads come up and attach up here. But you've also got iliopsoas, which comes from your spine and down and attach. And so if that's pulling down, you know, basically we need a balance of musculature in order to hold us upright. Okay, so where we start to get an imbalance in that, because one of the things, and as we're starting to study the lower extremity, it actually really affects posture a whole lot. Okay, so there's really no way to talk about the lower extremity without talking about posture. Okay, and so what tends to happen is, just like we talked about in the shoulder, where you get this slump shoulder, what happens is the anterior muscles are held in a shorter position, and so they are held in a tightened position. And the posterior muscles are overstretched, and so these become overstrong, these become weaker. So the same thing can happen in the lower extremity. So what happens when you sit at a desk all day? I hate to do this to y'all, but
It's true.
you know, if you think about it, let me grab a chair. So if you look at that and you transpose it to me sitting in a chair, even if I'm sitting nice and square, what's happening? I'm shortening my flexors and I'm stretching my extensors. Okay, so just, and there's been a lot of stuff that's come out in medical journals and other media just recently about how sitting is the new smoking. If you sit, even if you're an active person, if you spend too much time just sitting, it's really detrimental to your body. And I actually wrote an article on carpal tunnel that got published in a journal several years ago. And one of the things I found when I was doing my research for the article is this very concept of, okay, I'm sitting, so now I'm upright, but I need to do something on the desk, and so where do I go? Okay, so I start to round this forward, but I also am now shortening my abdominals as well, and further overstretching this. And so if you do that all the time, without doing something to balance it out, then what's going to happen is you get this imbalance in strength, and you start to fall apart. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. And then would it eventually affect your breathing as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it will eventually affect your breathing as well because you're crunched in.
Mm-hmm. Diaphragm.
You don't have any room to expand your lung. So you've got to expand your ribs, but you've also got to be able to expand your diaphragm down here. And so it's like, you know, try it. Try doing a deep breath sitting up straight. Breathe down into that belly. And then squinch over and try to do that same deep breath. Right? Okay. So would you agree that oxygen is a major nutrient for our muscles?
Mm-hmm.
Most of us don't breathe deeply enough, often enough. You know, we breathe very shallowly and just up here. And part of it is that squinch down positioning of being at a desk, on the sofa, doing our video games, whatever. I know you do that when I'm not looking. Okay, so here's,
She's saying that we're students, we type.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. I know. I really like it if you take a break and play a video game occasionally. You need to like give your brain a break. Go to the beach stuff. Go work the beach stuff. All right, so this is the opposite of what we just saw before. So if we go back, this is back extensors, hip flexors. So this is the opposite, trunk flexors and hip extensors. So basically, we've got lots of stuff to balance out, don't we? Okay. And the thing of it is over time, we start to lose our core strength. And I think it's not because we're getting older. I think it's because we're getting sedentary. You know, as you get older,